In this video, we would be knowing how to set goal and deadline dynamically in an SLA. So before talking about SLA, where do we configure this SLA? SLA can be configured for the entire case life cycle, or for a particular stage, or for a particular process, or it can be on a step also. Okay, so now in this example, I would like to set SLA on a manager approval. So how our SLA looks like? So if I open on this manager approval, I have a manager SLA. So if I open it, then you can see that here in the calculated service levels, we have two options: interval from when assignment is ready and set the value of a property. So what are these things actually? So if you want to set hard-coded values for a service level agreement, then we will use interval from assignment when ready. So whenever you take this, you can add days, hours, minutes and seconds for a goal. But if you don't want to add hard-coded values and you have already the goal value in some other place or in another property, then you can select set to the value of a property. Whenever you take set to the value of a property, your SLA rule asks for a property here, and this property should be a date time property. You cannot take date property or any string property here. So this property should be of type date and time. If I open it, if you see, this is a date and time property. Okay, so in the same way, if it is a goal, then we need to add a deadline also. So then how I'm adding these values, or how I'm setting these values to this particular SLA rule. Okay, so before calling this SLA, we need to set values to this. For that reason, what I am doing is I'm opening the flow rule of this particular manager approval. So this is a flow rule. Open the process, and here, before moving to the manager approval, create one data transform where you will set values of your goal and as well as deadline. So this is the data transform. So if I open it, yes, if you see here, there is an SLA goal and SLA deadline. So my deadline is for 3 days. So if I want to make it as 3 days, what should I do is I am adding goal for 1 day and deadline for 2 days, so that it will take goal plus deadline as 3 days. Okay, so how do I add goal here? So for the current date, so whenever the case is getting whenever the assignment you have reached the assignment, from that day onwards, 1 day should be your goal, and after that 2 days should be your deadline. That means overall 3 days it is. So how do I do that? So there is already a function which we have already seen in the previous video, add to date. So for this add to date, I'm taking the current date and adding one extra day for this, so that my goal will be for 1 day. So if it is 19th September, then my add to date would be 20th September. You can see over here. And then for this deadline, so for goal, from goal another 2 days I want. That means overall 3 days it is. So for the SLA deadline, what I do is I take this add to date as SLA goal. So this is already changed to 20th September, and then 2 days, that means 23rd September. So if I test it, you can see here it is showing 22 now, because I took here 19. Okay, if I take it as 20, then test it, it would be 23. So overall 3 days I am having as a goal and deadline. So this is set in this particular data transform, and call this data transform on this. Okay, and now let's run the case. Save your flow rule, save your case life cycle also. If you are doing it from the case life cycle, then do it. Basically we do it from PY default, or we just only do the flow rule. Say we will save the flow rule, that would be enough. Save and run, and then your case gets created. Continue. I'm not giving any of these things because they all are not mandatory fields. So if I go to the clipboard and see, there are two properties, SLA deadline and SLA goal. So you don't see over here because by this time they were not on the screen. So let me run this, add to cart, and then we'll get our approval. If you see here, due 3 days from now. So if I open the clipboard and see, check my thread and see the PY work page, you can see that SLA deadline is 20, your SLA goal is on 20 and SLA deadline is on 22. So this is how you add SL goal and deadline dynamically on your SLA rule. So for that you need to take set to the value of a property. Thank you.